So for today's game, I'm going to have my first run through of Field Commander Rommel by DVG Games. I'm going to be playing the North Africa 1941 campaign. This is what the map looks like. I will go ahead, set it up, and then we will go through and learn it together. Right, so I've set up. Basically, Axis is here, Allies are sent down here. I have two supplies, two forces getting ready to be reinforcements. Oops, I don't have enough down here. The Allied supplies are 8. Now, I'll just show you the chits. So it has the name, so that identifies each of the chits, the flag, the country it belongs to, whether it's a tank is armor, a motorized if it has a vehicle and an infantryman, and it's infantry if it just has 3 men. Down here it's combat values. The first one is attack. If it has a superscripted number, so what happens is that you'll roll a die 6 on an attack, and if you equal or less than the attack value, then you do 1 hit. If you've got that value is actually equal to a superscripted number, and not all of them have one, but if it is, then it will actually do 2 hits. This is its defensive value, and this is how many areas it can move, but for each additional one after the first, it actually uses 1 supply. Now, down here, these are very important. These tell us that when it comes to the supply check, that we can only ever have 3 units in each of the areas in Libya. In Tobruk, we can only have 2, and in Egypt, we can only have 1. So a unit that moves in the battle phase cannot move then in the non-battle move phase. We ensure that we don't have casualties because we either have to pay a supply, or if we don't have supplies for each one we can't pay for, we have to take a hit. And a hit is just flipping the token over. So if the second army was hit, the second army has a red banner around its name that just says that it's taken a wound, and then a second hit would remove it. So, turn 1, I move, I advance the turn counter, I have refitting, I don't need to do any refitting. Battle moves. I'm going to move the 2 panzers, and we'll bring in 2 Italians. So once we have done our battle moves, I think that's all the moving that I'm going to do. We then go into battling. So we resolve the battles. So we look down here, battle plans, that for every full allied unit they get 1. So they have overrun, +1 attack, +1 defense. Ooh, nasty. I can see some Italian infantry taking the brunt of this attack, I think. If they have 3 to 4 supplies, they will get 1 additional plan costing 1. If they have 5 or more supplies, in this case they have 8, so they'll get 2 plans. So they've the cost of 2. And they will have disrupt and press. So disrupt means when the first round of combat starts, we roll a dice, and on a 1 to 3 I'm going to lose my 2 supplies. 4-5 means I lose 1, and on a 6 there's no effect. Press means that if the combat isn't over, there will be one more round. Normally combat is for 1 round only. Alright, so I get to see what they're doing, and then I get to choose my own battle plans. Battle plan, it will have, if it's got a number next to it, so if we compare press, because the allies, they just get theirs sort of for free, because the allies get theirs for the cost of supplies, they don't need to do it. But for us, we work out our points value, and then this value in parentheses here in the brackets, that will tell us how much it costs. So they've got their press. Now I have 2 German tanks, so that's going to give me 4 points. I've got 2 full Italians, so that takes me up to 6. Do I wish to spend any supplies? I'm not sure, so I'm going to come back to it and see what I can get for 6. I'm going to put 3 points as a dig in out of my 6 points. Another 1, taking it to 4 for tactics, so I can reroll 1 dice. I suppose I'll exploit, advance if all the enemy are destroyed, so I'm taking a bit of a risk, but now I could lose potentially all my supplies, and if I have none, then I might leave it there and just there's nothing that's worth to maybe I might do a disrupt, spending 1 point just to get their supplies down. I think it's the first combat round, so we'll do the second armors first, but they have a disrupt, so we'll see what happens there. And they've rolled a 6, so it actually is no effect. But then they have overrun, they are defending, so they're going to hit me on a 3, but it goes to a 4. So they roll a 3, so they've done 1 hit, but I have a dig in, so I'm going to cancel that hit. So I then have my 2 tanks on, oh hang on, I've got a disrupt, so let's do my disrupt first. It's a 3, so they lose 2 supplies. So that disrupt goes. So I've got my 2 panzers that are 5 and 2. So I actually, a 1 and a 3 does 3 hits, which is enough to kill them. They then get put in back into the reinforcement. The press, they're dead, so we don't need to worry about that. They're overrun, they're dead, so we can put those back in. I can remove my exploits off, battle plans off. I can exploit, but it's going to cost me supplies to do it. Now that I've only got 1 supply, I was wanting to rush up into Benghazi with my 2 tanks, but I don't think I'm brave enough to do that. 1-on-1 just doesn't feel right, just in case on the Allies' turn they actually then go on the offensive. But I do actually have to move 1. So, because the reason I have to move 1 is that I can only have 3. I've got 4 in here. So I'll pay my supply and move one of my tanks up into there. Alright, so that's all my battle moves. My non-battle moves. I'm going to bring my motorized troops up, and I'm actually going to move, basically do a swap. So that way my motorized troops, which fight slightly better. Supply check. 3, 2, 2, so I'm all fine there. 1 up here. Oh, this actually now starts a fight. So I should have done that during the resolve battle. So they get 1 battle plan because there's 1 full ally. Ambush. So he will actually get to attack first on the first round of battle. And they have 4 supplies, so they're going to spend 1 to get a second, which will be an air raid. Oh, cool. Right, I have 2 points because I've got a full strength German up there. And I can't even afford to dig in. I might actually spend my 2 points on intel. So there'll be 1 -1 random enemy plan. So 1 to 3 it'll be an ambush. 4 to 6 it'll be the air raid. 4 to 6 it was a 6, so that gets rid of the air raid. So I'm still going to get ambushed, but so I'll do there first. They're defending on a 2. They roll a 5. So no effect on them. And on me, I will have a 5-2 and roll a 1. And that'll probably be the only lucky dice roll I get, because that actually kills them. 1 equal to or less than our 2. So that actually manages to kill them all. Otherwise, if that hadn't happened, I would have had to have retreated back into here, which then when I would have been oversupplied, so one of my units would have had to take a hit. Right, so I've done my non-battle supplies, I've done my supply check, my Axis resupply. Finally, I get some supplies. So if I look up here, I can get resupply points, 3 per region, free of allies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've just now seen the destroyed allied forces should have actually been put up into there. So the second army probably won't make much of a difference. And the guards. I'm not sure whether these count. So I'm gonna say they don't. I'd rather err on the side of caution. So yeah, if I've done that wrong, put it in the comments below. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 times 3 is 18. Am I holding Fortress Tobruk? No. 1 per allied force destroyed. I've got 2, so 18 plus 2 is 20. So I can spend some supplies. I'm going to... basically, if I spend 10 points, if I spend 5 points, I'll actually get 10 supplies because they're half a point each. And whether I can... I have no reinforcements, so I do actually have reinforcements. I have the 90th Light and the DAC, and it costs their points, their attack value to get them. And if I don't spend these points, I will lose them, so I may as well. So if I bring those on, so I'm actually going to bring on the 90th, the DAC, so that's 5 points. So I've got 5 points there. I've got, even though it's 10 points there, it's 5 points worth spent, so that's a total of 10 out of my 20. I may as well get all these reinforcements on. So there's another 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'll have 3 more, so 6 supplies, and that gets rid of my 20. So the Axis resupply section of the map specifies areas that you can place your new forces in. So they will come in up in Tripoli. I will then have, so that's my refit, my resupply. So it's now the Allies' turn. So the Allies' turn, refit. If any Allied forces are flipped to their reduced side, I can pay 2 to do that, but no, they're all destroyed. I then have their operations check. So I draw 1 from here, and this will tell them what happened. So that currently the Allies are building up, so +2 forces means that I draw 2 reinforcements and they will get placed here. So they're going to draw 2 forces, and that actually stays out. I had to check to see whether they stayed in. So they're going to get 7th Armour and the 1st Armour. So ever so slowly these forces are going to build up, and then when the shit that is drawn out with go on it, that will then launch their operation. So I've done their operation check, so it's now Ally orders. Basically they could have built up, they could have advanced, or they go. So there's no battles there, so the Allied orders. Each region on the map has Allied orders chart. So in Egypt, we'll start here. If for Allied forces that are in Cairo, roll a dice, and I've rolled a 1. So on a 1 or a 2, Allied forces in Cairo, then hold. For Allied forces not in Cairo, die 6 is a 3, random, into a random area. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 possible areas, So I'll do 1 to 4 that way, and then a 5 or 6 I'll just reroll. 1, so they're actually going back to Alamein. So that's all in Egypt. In Tobruk. For Allied forces in Fortress Tobruk, so these two here, I'll roll a dice. And on a 2, 1 or 2 Allied forces hold. Now I'm going to roll for the forces in that aren't in the fortress. It'll be a +1 because I've got, well, the Allies have got another force here, but it's -1 because I have 1 up here. So this will be a straight dice roll. A 3 advance, so they advance to the closest. Right, it's going to move to where it can have equal sort of odds from the way I read the rules, so it will move up into here. And there's no forces up in Libya, so we don't have to worry about that, so we can go to the battle. So oops, put that ambush back in there. So they're going to get 1 free. And then they have 3 supplies, so they'll spend 1 to draw another one out. They really like disrupting mine. And you can actually see under here the different ones that each sides will actually have that are drawing from and choosing from. So I get 2 because I've got 1 German in there, so that's 2 points. And I might actually spend another 3. So that gives me a total of 5 points. I'm going to dig in for 3 to absorb 1 hit. I'm not the attacker, so I don't know if I'm not really bothered, because they'll just fall back into Aladem if they don't win, so I'm not going to worry about pressing. I've got 2 points, so I'm going to re-roll. And I've got 1 point left. You never know. Let's do a disrupt. Okay. So as they're the attackers, let's do their disruption first. 4 minus 1 supply. I will do my disruption as well. Roll the 1, so that's 2 supplies, so that's all their supplies gone. So that's the disruptions removed. Right, so for the first round it only gets 1, so a 1 or a 2, and the anti-tank gun hits, and it rolls a 1. I think I'm going to use my dig in to stop that. That's then put back. Then it has a 2 and it rolls a 4, so it misses. I'm defending on a 3. I roll a 3, so I've defended against it. I could re-roll it, but it's pointless. So it takes a hit. It's the end of the combat. I was the defender. It didn't kill me, so it moves back 1 space. Oh, one thing that I didn't do, and just so is that I can actually upgrade. When you upgrade, so for each enemy force that was destroyed, you get 1 upgrade. So I can have from veteran to elite Now, just to be fair, I'm going to put it on the other panzer that didn't move in. So I've randomly drawn one, and it's a veteran and elite. So my 21st Panzers are now veteran, so it does nothing to their attack, but they're better defenders and can move one here. There's no upgrade there because neither side destroyed a force. So we now go to the Allied resupply. Alright, so up here we have Allied resupply. Roll once for each Alexandra and Cairo. So Alexandria rolls a 6. 5 plus 2 forces and 2 supplies. So I draw it out of their reinforcements, and they will come in from here. So the 4th Indian and the 50th motorized come in. And then from Cairo, they have a 3, 1 force, and 7 supplies. Oh, wow. Three, 6, 7, and 1 force. And they get the 2nd South African. At least that's who I think they are anyway. So that's the end of March 1941. I'll call it there. As I said, if you've spotted any mistakes, please put them down in the comments, as I'll fix them if I can for the next round. But I love the Field Commander series. I have all, well, I have Rommel, I have Alexander, and I have Napoleon. I am a big fan. So Fleet Command. So I've also been eyeing off Nimitz over the last couple of days as to whether I should look at getting that. And I have a lot of the Warfighter as well, mainly World War II. So again, if there's any of those sort of games that you'd like to see in the future, make comment of it down below. And yeah, make comment of it below, and I will do what I can to make sure that I can play it if possible. Stay tuned for part 2. And yeah, please, any comments, place below. If you like it, subscribe. It'll help me give some direction to the channel. So anything is appreciated. Hopefully you enjoyed the first turn. And yeah, see you in part 2.